I'm not sure if I'm live. I looked away. I looked back and it had stopped counting down. So I'm going to assume I'm live. I'm also early. I'm early by 2 minutes. So for the early birds who catch the worm, I'm jumping on here right now where I am in my tiny little world, my tiny little office. If I were to open the blinds, you'd be blinded by the light. Bright sunny, hugely bright sunny, and fairly cold actually. When you get right down to it, really cold. The wind is going like there's a sale on at Macy's, and Gimbels is about to put up their sign. And so the people are we had gusts of, so I'm in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, and New York City time. We had wind gusts over 70 kilometers an hour, which is, I don't know, $9.48 US. You can do the math. But really scary. People were losing things off balconies, and trees coming down in sort of wooded backyards, and power going out, and generators coming on. And it's one of those things that you choose without really thinking when you get involved in the idea of living on your own in your own little tiny home, whether you're renting it or you're owning it. You want your privacy, you want your yard, you want your stuff, and with it comes that kind of risk and responsibility. So good morning to everybody who has just jumped on. I got on a couple of minutes early because I'm keen. I'm Abby Hagyard, and I was just launching into the conversation this morning. This is my office. This is my office in my little apartment in Ottawa, Canada. And this is where I do my videos twice a week. And it's where I work away at all kinds of ideas and wonderful things to create conversation and to generate the feeling of, we got this. And I don't always mean spike the ball, we got this. It doesn't always have to be, the raging relentless rabbit kind of thing. It can easily and more often be that calm certainty that we got this. I got this. All right then. Not only do I got this, but I'm glad I got this. It's not like, oh, I opened the package and oh, it's yes. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because a lot of people are struggling. First of all, it's January. And January is one of those times, really. We tend to have longer dark hours, and we don't really enjoy that. We like to have more sunlight. We like to be out and about and doing things. So January is difficult. January is the aftermath of all the frantic jumping around and exciting stuff pretty much ever since Halloween. And it's just kind of a blah, right? And everybody feels a little down. So I wanted to talk about this concept that I basically guess I've done without knowing it my whole life. And before I do that, I'm going to have a sip of something warm beverage. And for those of you who are just joining me for the first time because you saw the link somewhere, once upon a time, a long time ago in a far off land, I was a mom on television. I was also a bunch of Care Bears. I was a troll. I was a troll, Teddy Ruxpin, and a princess. So I've had a busy time in my performing career. And when I took a step back, because show business is like this: busy, 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 nothing, 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 busy, 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 busy. So when I was in a nothing trough, I joined an agency and I became a writer for hire. And I had a little code name, so nobody was saying, "Oh my God, I'm hiring this person." And I wrote stuff for people, either editing or taking their idea and getting into their voice, getting into their footsteps, and ghosting for them. And it was a really great learning curve experience because people paid me to get good at something, right? And what happened to me along the way was that I had the ability, I gained the ability to talk about things in someone else's voice from someone else's point of view. It's a difficult thing to do because you have to let go of your own. And as I went through that, I got to know a lot of people and I got to see a lot of common threads in the way people look at the world and the way people judge themselves and the way people, we learn from our parents, we learn from our teachers, and we mirror what they did. We adapted over time to suit us, but basically we're copying what we're taught. So if what we're taught was good for them, but maybe isn't a good fit for us, we can easily go through life thinking that we're not good enough. There's a great quote attributed to Albert Einstein that everyone is a genius. Everyone is a genius in their own way. But if you told a goldfish from birth that he was an idiot because he couldn't climb a tree, you would destroy his sense of self, because he's not supposed to climb a tree. He's supposed to be able to swim. And that's his superpower, not the tree, swimming. So, I love that quote, because there are so many times when you have a parent who's brilliant at something and says, "What's wrong with you?" Because they're looking at this little person that they assume, they hope, they wish will be a copy of them. My dad was a natural athlete. Don't get me wrong. I adored my father, but he was a natural athlete. Me, not so much. And he would take me out to teach me how to do stuff. And many times it was fairly clear right from the beginning that it wasn't my thing. And he would be so upset. And his assumption was that I just wasn't trying hard enough. If I just gave it a little more effort, the clouds would part, the sun would shine, the birds would sing, and yet not to be. And he was always crushed. Me too. Uh, and it's a wonder that I'm alive, given all the things that he put me through to try and just, push me a little harder, just try a little harder. Good morning. You like my big bird girlfriend shoes? So, so the conversation I want to have today, especially given it's January, especially given that places are having fascinating weather, just fascinating weather, and fascinating weather impacts. And so it's not enough that it's January, but now, the entire world is on fire, or the entire world is buried under 1.5 feet of snow, or it's raining, or it's snowing sideways, or trees are falling, or whatever. Uh, we need a little sunshine. And we need a little sunshine where we don't have to go out and bundle up because it's minus 40. We need a little sunshine. So the conversation today, the theme today for today's episode, and again, for the people just joining me, I do these videos twice a week. Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. New York time, and Thursday mornings, 10 a.m. New York time. And they're around half an hour, 45 minutes long. And the reason I do them is to let you know that I'm still here, that I'm alive and well, that the mad genius creative inside Mom and the Care Bears and all the other characters is still exactly who she's always been. And I wanted to make sure that connection was still strong. Hence, this is episode 327 of these videos. So the theme today is, why do we need happy hug habits? We have them, we use them, we're not realizing it most of the time because it's a habit, therefore it's on autopilot. Why do we need them is the conversation. How do we recognize them is the conversation. And what happens when we go after them and polish them and keep them going? That's the conversation today, because this is the kind of day, week, month. It's the end of January. We're hanging on. We're hanging on for the February month coming. So I went shopping yesterday, and it was very brisk. It was not only brisk in terms of temperature, but it was brisk in terms of how fast the wind was going. And so I was in the grocery store. And quite often I will say one of two things to the cashier. to pull them out of their rotation and autopilot stuff. I mean, they say hello and I say hello back, but I want to get them. I want to get them out of there. And so what I give them is a verbal happy hug. I trick them into climbing back into their real present self, right? And I have 2 or 3 things that I opt for saying. And every time I do it, it works. So I say some ridiculous, crazy, foolish, mad thing, and they blink and laugh. And the minute they blink and laugh, they are now fully present. So that first one was basically just the knock on the door. And so the first little thing I say is the knock on the door, and how they say hello, yes, who is it, tells me which one of the things that I can say next. So I'm standing there, and I had bought a bunch of fresh fruit, and she's going through, and I said, you know what, it's -40 and it's about to snow sideways. I buy fresh fruit and I don't look at anything else all day because I'm trying to dream that I'm in some place that is exotic. And she stopped and she looked up and she said, oh my God. And I thought, she's in the boat. And so we had a lovely conversation through the rest of the swipe through, because it caught her off guard. She's staring, she's holding a bag of fresh fruit. And when I said it, I saw her do it. I saw her, the blink, the pause, the look at me, the oh my God. But I also saw her go there. I saw her in her head pack her little bag and leave and go someplace exotic. I saw it. And then she was grinning at me all the way through the rest of the transaction. And what did that take? It took me knowing that I have 2 or 3 things that I can pull out of a hat. One of the things that is so easy, in some shopping center somewhere back in the midst of time, I purchased, those little reusable bags for your groceries, so that you don't, use a lot of plastic. Well, these were about this big, and inside there's 4 compartments for bottles of things. Glass bottles of things. I don't know, if I were to buy a bottle of wine, or if I wanted to make sure that a can of, a bottle of fresh made soup or something, salad dressing, didn't break, didn't hit something and break, and now it's a disaster and I have to go and buy another one. And so every time I pull out those 2 bags, and I've never found them again. I've never found them again. Every time I pull out those 2 bags and I say, could you please put the bottles in there? And they always say, oh yeah, sure. But then when they open the bag and they're looking at it and I see them do it and I say, I know, right? I know I'm going to get in trouble when I say this, but I always think a woman thought of that. I always think, and they start to laugh. Even if it doesn't matter who is at the cash, they laugh. And I say, I'm picturing the woman saying to her husband, you know what we need? You need to go and invent that, or let's invent that. And now they're with me. Because now they're thinking about that. And this woman yesterday, she said, she kept looking at it. She kept saying, that's a good idea. I said, you know what we need to do, you and I? We need to get rich. Let's come up with a name and let's invent it. And she said, I'm in. I've already got her in an exotic place with fruit. And I've got her co-inventing something with me. And that took no time. It took no time, no sweat equity, just imagination. And when I left, she was smiling and she was saying, thanks so much. And I said, have a great day. Stay warm when you leave. Winds are picking up. And she said, yeah, I heard. So now we're people. Now we are no longer cashier, next customer. We're still cashier, customer, but we're also 2 people talking about life. In short, easy, didn't have to think, didn't have to study for the pop quiz. Detail. It's so simple to do it if that's your intention. And I have a friend who says, I don't want to look people in the eye. I don't want to talk to them. I just want to get the thing done and gone. Okay. But that deprives you my friend, of the opportunity to not only have a happy hug moment, but to teach somebody else how to have one. Now, why wouldn't you do that? They're free. So, what's a happy hug and why do we need it? A happy hug is the opposite of all the things we have to focus on. It is the opposite of all of the things that stress us. It is the opposite of everything that makes us feel anxious. And I'll explain. A happy hug requires 100% focus. Not, I can multitask, I'm the king or queen of multitaskers. We all know by now, I hope, that my definition of multitasking is doing many things badly, because if you have 100% and you're going to do two things, now you have two 50%, right? Because you only have 100%. And if you're going to do three things, now you have a third on each, which is diminishing in the capacity to be brilliant, right? So we multitask at our peril, is what I'm saying. So the happy hug is the reset. The happy hug is go back to the starting point. It's what is it? It getting rid of cookies, right? Not cookies in the kitchen, not those. But remember when you used to defrag your computer? You're clearing the decks, starting over. Go back to the original setting. A happy hug zeroes out the toxicity totally. And it takes no time at all. Now, you can get the toxic stuff back. That doesn't take long either. But in the meantime, in this little moment of meantime, everything's clean and clear and fresh, and there's nothing written on the page. We, weapon of mass construction, hold the pen. It's our pen. We can write something new that isn't toxic. Chris is doing this amazing thing. It's not that it's earth-shattering, but it is game-changing. He made the commitment that he was going to do a yoga thing every morning. He had stopped. He used to. Got out of the habit. Okay? Came back to it. And you know what it does? It's his happy habit. It's a reset. Now, for those of us who are concerned that if we struck a yoga pose, we might not be able to get out of it without help, that would be me. There are other happy habits. I'm going to show you one. So I ordered these little hoodies for our group and for the live shows. So these are my unforgettables, and I've ordered more that are spelled correctly because, of course, for our pets, it should be unfur, un-F-U-R instead of F-O-R. So this is a little hoodie. I put my hand in so you can see exactly. So it's a little hoodie. So there's the hoodie. It's a little hoodie. And the little animal goes in here, and then it's on the back, right? The crazy thing is that on the back, underneath this, there's a pocket. I don't know what we put in there because pet's walking like this, right? However, this is, and when it came out, and this was small, I didn't know what small would be. When it came out of the package, I thought, well, what the how, like, what animal is going to possibly fit into this? And then I was in my office doing something, and I turned and I stared at one of my collectibles. Now, just so that you know, I'm not a collector in the way that many of us are. I collect these items because I use them as stage settings and impulse to engage tools. What is this for? It's to keep Friend Bear warm. So Friend Bear is normally sitting over here. Friend Bear is sitting over here. And he's so cute. He's so small. I mean, I have a smaller one. I have this one, which is just utterly ridiculous. Can't even make him there. I have this one, but this is just adorable. So you can imagine, right? You can imagine It's exactly the right size. But I didn't want to put it on because then you wouldn't be able to see his little sunflower. So, in what way is little creature a happy hug? What does this little kid do? This little collectible. Well, in the first place, the smile. The smile is absolute. Can you see it? The smile is absolutely killer. And the reason I personally think it's killer is because, by the way, so when we created the Care Bears, it was such a wonderful opportunity. There were only 6 of us in the beginning. And the really funny thing is that I voiced 3 of them. And this brilliantly talented voice actor from Ottawa named Rick Jones voiced the other 3. And so there were just 2 actors, but we were having these conversations like we were crazy. And the thing that I loved about Friend Bear, more than all of them, was that because we were allowed to invest these characters with personalities that we, included, I said, wouldn't it be cool if Friend Bear is a little boy bear? And wouldn't it be cool if he thought of himself as a superhero? So he's really tough. He's really tough. I'll save you, except that he's also clumsy. And when I said that, I said, I think we need a clumsy bear. And Jones, who has been on jobs with me for decades, looked at me and he said, "Gee, I wonder why." What? So Friend Bear would say things like, "I'll save you. Oh, in a minute, I'm stuck," right? And that gave the cartoonists, that gave the animators, that gave the script people opportunities to then rewrite and augment. Although Rick Jones certainly didn't need any augmenting, the king of improv. And we would go off on tangents, the 2 of us, nattering on in all these different voices. And what this gave all of us was the happy hug moment. Not simply because it's frivolous, not simply because it's small and cute and squudgy cuddly, but because, as Chris and I have talked about since the beginning of the Facebook group, We Are the Unforgettables, is that nostalgia entertainment is our happy hug moment. It is our happy hug escape from all of the clear and present, dear God in heaven, now what? And good morning, Freddie, how nice to see you. When we have these opportunities to just step away, step out and back. I've always felt that the rat race, the spinning on the hamster wheel, that if you can step off and it keeps going, blah, 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 and people are yelling and waving and screaming and yelling, whatnot. And then you step back on when you've had a moment to breathe, when you've had a moment to say, oh, well, that's better. And so the happy hug, now that I've told you from whence it comes, how I thought of it, why I think it matters. It's one thing to say to people, just say something funny. That's unfair and it's unhelpful because people need the instruction booklet and they would like it in the language of their choice. And they would prefer not that it did not require an Allen key or a whole bunch of tools they don't have. People, if they have to buy something that says some assembly required, they want it to be within their scope. Otherwise, they're even more upset, exhausted, confused, and frustrated than before. So the happy hug habit is this. Give yourself permission to do something that makes you smile, even if it's just on the inside. Small thing. Here's what I do. When I get into bed at night, and when I wake up in the morning, after I have, written in my journal, I've done everything, I've turned the lights off, or before I turn the lights on, what I do is I stretch. Not in any kind of athletic way. I just slowly paying attention, and we're not doing a yoga, we're not doing a meditation, we're not doing anything special. I'm just stretching. I'm putting my arm out, my other arm out, putting my shoulders back, circling my hands, I'm certainly not doing that with my legs, thank you very much. Legs out, slowly circle my feet, put my head back, shoulders back, breathe in, out. While I'm doing that, and it's not kind of a now I do this and now I do that, it's just I'm relaxing all the bits and pieces. Why? Because they've been on duty all day, fetching and carrying and focusing and bending and twisting and whatnot. I'm just letting them all relax. While I'm doing that, I'm paying attention to how my pillow feels behind my head. I'm paying attention. I don't like being cold at night. Some people really like cool, crisp sheets, and I certainly like that in the summer, but in the winter, so I have flannelette sheets. I'm there, and I have my hands, and I'm thinking, oh, see, they're warm. I don't have to rise to any occasion. I can just enjoy the comfort. It is a moment of comfort that is comforting. And that I am giving myself those few seconds to just experience it. Stretch, relax, breathe, close my eyes, open my eyes, look at the things that I have put together. Even when I was moving, when I was getting ready to come back to Ottawa and I was moving, I kept one spot, there were boxes everywhere, but I kept one spot I could look at that was clean and clear. And I could look at that and close my eyes and picture how many more days it was until the movers were coming. Counting down the time. Being so incredibly grateful that I had this opportunity. Just thinking, wow, lucky me. Whoever put this together with me, for me, thank you. And I do it now that I have come back to my city. I'm in my little home. I do it every night, and I do it every morning. Even if I sleep in, the alarm goes off, and I allow myself, and I think, what time is it? I look at the clock. I stop myself from jumping because it's only going to take me 10, 15 seconds. I breathe properly, and I do that stretch. And I think about how wonderful this bed is going to feel when I get back into it later. And then I get up. And am I on a mad dash? Yeah, but not as mad as if I had just leapt out of the bed the minute I realized I was late. Because another 15 seconds is not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. So that's a happy hug habit. It is a smile on the inside. You have to take the time to experience the smile on the inside. You have to give yourself those seconds. The other thing that I do, and this is not always easy to do, because sometimes, you get up, you go to the bathroom, turn on the light, you look in the mirror and you go, Jesus, when? What is that? I looked fine when I turned off the light last night. What happened? Did somebody get the license plate on that truck? What? So after I've gotten over that surprise, I pause and I ignore all of the stuff that clearly needs some adjusting. I ignore all of that. And I just look in my eyes. And I don't have to get up close and squint, even though I, need glasses. I just look in my eyes and I say, good morning. How you doing? And then I smile. I look at my eyes. I look in my eyes the way I'm looking into yours now. And I smile at me. And I say, how you doing? And the reason I do that is because I'm the one carrying me around all day. I'm the one helping me get where I want to go. I'm the one driving me over to that grocery store to make that cashier's day. If I'm the one doing all the work, the least I can do is say hello. The least I can do is smile the way we smile at somebody we genuinely like, we genuinely approve of, and say, how you doing? I don't wait for an answer. We don't want to get into a long, involved conversation here because we have stuff to do. But I want me to know that I acknowledge me. And that happy hug is the antidote to the venom that we get accidentally injected with 150,000 times a day. We overhear somebody sniping and snarping and fetching and moaning. We get on an elevator and the tension is thick because everybody just had a conversation until the door went ding and it opened and they're all standing there like this. You step in, you think, whoa. So we need to be able to find a way to let that go. Exactly. Freddie, you're brilliant. What Freddie has just said here, if you're watching the comments, Freddie has said, greet yourself before greeting others. Yes, you're the first person with you and the last person in the day and the night. Greet yourself first. How you doing? You don't have to go to the trouble of saying on a scale of 1 to 10 because you already know. But how you doing? It's just a sweet thing. It's a happy hug. It's simple. There are no calories. It won't rot your teeth. What it does is it gives you permission to know that you are loved. You are needed. You are valued. You are seen. You are heard. What does this give you? This gives you the opportunity to remember how you felt the first time you held a toy. You were given something huggable. You see all these little videos of dogs walking around carrying their toy. If you're a Calvin and Hobbes fan, Calvin never wanted to go anywhere without Hobbes. And we all need to know that we have something like that we have access to. I don't need to walk around carrying Friend Bear. I mean, partly because I am Friend Bear. but I know that when I get home and I've done everything I've had to do, and I come into my office and I sit down, Friend Bear's on my desk. I walk in and Friend Bear's sitting there. And I know perfectly well that I am the voice I hear when I look at Friend Bear and he says, how you doing? I know it's my voice. I know I created it because I know that Friend Bear was my first bear. We are inseparable. Even the new ones that all have a kind of a similar look, the reason we all love the original bears is because they were individual. When I do my live events and I have it, and I have all the different wristbands for the bears. So this one I had made is obviously representing Friend Bear, but it has all of them written on it. It's Friend Bear, Wish Bear, Love a Lot. Those are my 3 bears. And I have also the wristbands in the pink and the sort of the turquoisey blue. And I have little bowls of them. And, when people come and if their kids are there, I say, would you like a Care Bear wristband? Yes, please. Which color would you like? And then they pick and the parent says, oh my God, thank you. What do I need to give you? Nothing, just a hug. And so we hug and they're just so, and I say, it's a happy hug. Make it a habit. And they say, absolutely. So the happy hug habit is the way we start and end the day. It goes with this, right? And I keep talking about this. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, beautiful Care Bear. Abby Bears. The happy hug habit leads into the later folder. And as soon as my tech guy and I can figure out how to do this, we're going to have these available so you can order them online. Right? And the object of the exercise with these folders, it's very simple. It's just a little notebook, but you keep it with you. I mean, literally, don't tell me there's no room for it. It's literally the size of your phone. So I keep it with me. I put it in my purse. And how that works, you start the day with your happy hug habit, whatever that is, whether it's, how you doing in the mirror, whatever your habit is. You take that cat stretch for 5 seconds in the bed before and at the end of the day. You carry this with you, and every time you shift, you make a note. Every time you shift, you write down the things that were stressful. So for instance, I'm getting dressed, I'm getting ready, I break a nail, there's a run in my stockings. I almost, but not quite, spilled coffee. On something I'm wearing. So there's relief, but there's also that pent up tension. So I'm about to leave the apartment. Before I open the door, I pull this out and I get my weapon of mass construction and I write down those things. And I don't have to go into any detail because I know what they are: coffee and fingernail and whatever. And then I draw a line under it and I put it back in my purse and I'm out the door. That took 2 seconds, right? Doesn't matter that you're late. 2 seconds does not make a difference. So get in the car, head out, and encounter things. Fine. When you reach your destination and you shut off the car, before you get out of the car, haul out the folder, write down the things, draw a line underneath. What we're doing, the reason it's called the later folder, is we're getting it out of our head, we're getting it out of our heart, we're pulling it out of our gut energy, we're putting it on the page, we're putting it over there where we're not tripping over it, and we know we're not going to forget it. So the emotional survival brain doesn't say, I got to keep focusing on it because we can't forget it. This is dangerous. It could have killed us. No. And you say, it's later. I got it for later. And you go through the day and you do that. Now, here's what it does. When you take it out of there, it's no longer here. It's no longer a stress octopus attached to your face. It's over there. So now the page is clear. Now we go into the next thing without carrying stuff forward, right? Good morning, Sky. And when we clear the page, when we clear our head, clear the heart, clear the energy, we're 100% present. We're not trying to multitask. We're focused on this now, focused 100%. Quality improves immediately. The very act of taking it out and putting it on the page is a happy hug habit, because we're giving ourselves permission to feel better, right? End of the day, finish the day, have whatever you're having, deal with whatever you're dealing with, get ready for bed. Before you're in the bed, take out the later folder. Now, this is what is amazing. You have your weapon of mass construction and you have the folder, right? And you're going to look at your day and you have all these things. And as you look at each one, as you read it, how you feel. Did you conquer it? Did you let it go? Were you able to move on? Are you now in charge and it no longer owns you? Put a check mark beside it. Put a check mark beside it. Put a check mark beside it. When you have one that still gives you a bit of a trigger, gives you that little bit of thing, okay, circle it. That is something you need to think about, but not now. It's for tomorrow. Do a little arrow for tomorrow. Because what happens is this brain believes everything is a threat. Everything is life or death. Everything is fight or flee, freeze or hide. That little brain knows nothing about tap dancing, knows nothing about spike the ball. Because the minute you survive this threat, there's another threat. That's what that brain is all about. When you realize that the threat is no longer menacing, it means the danger has passed. And every time you do a little check mark, the subconscious brain says, okay, we're good. We got this. All right. All right. Then close that, put that down. Then turn out the light. Then give yourself permission to do your stretch. Then feel thankful, grateful that all these small, small things, these pebbles in our shoes, have gone away. Now we're ready for a great night's sleep. And when we do it again in the morning, we're ready for another great day. This is the power of the happy hug habit. And the best thing of all, the cherry that is on the icing, on the cake of this whole concept, it costs nothing. We are worth it. We deserve it. This is how we today can compensate for the fact that we can't go and sit in somebody's lap and have them do the hug for us. This is how we remember how those hugs felt, because we're creating our own. What do you think? Cool concept, huh? That's the thought for today. So as we go about the day, I want you to focus on something really cool. We have this group on Facebook. It's called We Are the Unforgettables. You can go on Facebook, you can look it up. We are growing our family. We have people all over the world. We have input from people, all of whom understand that the unforgettables are not only our nostalgia toys, our nostalgia memories, our nostalgia gotta haves used to do, but they bring us back to the way we felt just like that in an instant. The minute we talk about them, the minute we go get one, take a picture, put it on the group. We are the most dynamic, and we're only a couple of months old. We launched on the 15th of November. We're just over 2 months old, and we have over 600 people, which is amazing. I want you, if you all aren't already a member, I want you to check us out. I want you to join. I've invited everybody that I possibly could, but maybe not you. Maybe I missed you by mistake. Maybe I'm on a platform right now that you're watching, and I didn't have access to all the people. We Are the Unforgettables on Facebook. It's a public group. I'm the mom. I'm the number one mom. Chris Wilkes is our admin, our knight of the round table, making sure that all the trivia is fabulous, making sure that everybody understands that we're all here to play and be friends. And so many people, Warren, who created our theme song, so many people, Sky in England, we've got Jenna Lee in California, we've got people in the Midwest, we've got people in Canada, we've got people everywhere who already know me on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. We've got everybody so far saying, oh, that looks kind of cool. And my invitation to you is this: check it out. It's free. Join us. Consider yourself unforgettable, just like the rest of us. Become part of the family. Say hi. Just joined, saw Abby's video, saw one of Chris's posts. That's amazing, Warren. Love the lunchbox collection. Because we are a dynamic, interactive, engaged, and engaging group. Why? Because it's a happy hug habit to get into. Isn't that cool? Now, that's not an infomercial. That's an info. I can't do it. It's an invitation. The door is open. So I'm going to be back on Thursday, same time, in this same spot. with another really, really cool video. I hope you'll be able to find the time. And by the way, these are live. It doesn't mean that you have to watch live. You can just bookmark it and watch it when you have time. I picked 10 o'clock New York time because it's 10 o'clock my time. It's kind of like coffee break time. And if you can join me, that's amazing. So Kevin, what do you do if you have no brain? Oh, Kevin. Daniel, good morning, Daniel. Rhea, this has been a great life. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Every person who's coming, who's just starting, remember this. I didn't set out to be a mom. Mom was thrust upon me. And if you've ever watched the show, and by the way, it's not on a streaming platform, but you can certainly find it on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, type in "You Can't Do That on Television," and then also add "mom," and you'll see all these sketches in which it's colossally amazing that woman managed to get through each day somehow. Okay, I'm going to love you and move forward in my day. And I know you will too. However, I'm promising to be back here on Thursday, and I would love to see you if you can make it too. All right. In the meantime, here's the drill for those of you just joining me. Be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones. Even if they're far away, you can send them virtual hugs because they deserve it too. Without you, these videos would not have evolved the way they have. And for that, I am just beyond words grateful that you are part of this process. So I will catch you next time.